Hey folks, it is the Week in Therapist, and I'm back with another video. I want to get into the things. I want to talk about the roundtable that was presented by Sister Song, as well as Bill Power, entitled Black Men Trust Black Women, where they talked about reproductive justice, women's agency, and how Black men could help be a conduit toward those things. Of course, I saw the clip. I saw the clip that's gone viral between a young gay man and an older Black man. And I, like most people, immediately was thrown off or interested in and had an opinion. But one thing I've challenged myself to do is not to take a clip at face value. Go watch the episode. Again, before you do any type of analysis, go watch the episode. It's an hour and 42 minutes. It's a good episode. There are a lot of things that I'm going to touch on in this video that I want you to come back to and reference as you are watching the episode. So, very first thing out the gate, I enjoyed the diversity of the Black men in the group. One, you had different people with different occupations, different experiences, some married, some not, some gay, some not, some trans, some not. It was very, very, very good. They were all different educational levels from what I could gather that were there, and experiential levels, and so on and so forth. So that being said, as someone who does group psychotherapy, I think it's important to better understand the grouping that you put together, right? Because that can inadvertently set the stage for conflict. But here is where it gets interesting. Conflict is not bad. Group dynamics, there's a whole reason that we have storming, forming, and norming in group dynamics, right? The storming period is when the initial group gets together and there's not clear roles defined, clear things that are set up, and so people are kind of trying to navigate the best way that they know how. So as I watched the video, as I went through the whole hour and 42 minutes, there are a couple things that I need you to pick up on. One is the differential between ages. So although there was one person that appeared to be the senior at the table, that in terms of Black community sometimes means that their word goes regardless of whether they are wrong. And if that is how I am used to showing up in the world, then that is what I'm going to bring into a group dynamic. Similarly, on the younger side or younger spectrum, if I'm used to having an opinion and being heard and people giving me, opportunity to voice that opinion, I'm also going to bring that into a group dynamic. So you see where I'm going here with this. There is going to be a clash there. Now, what happens in conflict, especially in unhealthy conflict, is one or more parties shuts down. That's called stonewalling for those who want a psychological term for it. They shut down, they completely become disinterested in the conversation, and they check out. There were periods where when conflict happened throughout the video that you will notice certain people shutting down and retreating, i.e. stonewalling, withdrawing themselves from the conversation and practicing in a very avoidant style. Additionally, you will also note some more positive things. You'll note that I believe it's the trans person is Laith and Luke James. They used a lot of reflection of feeling. They used a lot of opportunity to clarify and understand. They also were very centered and in many ways anchored a lot of the conversation and helped progress things forward. even when conflict was happening toward them. Now, I know this video is going to be fairly long. It's an hour and 42-minute video. I can't give it to you in 3 minutes. I'm sorry that social media is going to meter this and not share it, but you can share this. The next thing I want you to think about is that in a group, we bring ourselves to these groups. There's a concept in group psychotherapy called recapitulation of the family unit. Who you are in a group of people is who you will be when you come to group. So if you are used to being the top dog, if you're used to being whoever, you're going to bring that behavior into a group dynamic. Now, that's in play for everybody there. Although some people can regulate faster, better than others, that is part of just the journey of bringing a group together. All in all, there were definitely some wins. There were some opportunities to really expand this conversation, to grow from this conversation. I do not think that the viral clip is a representation of the entire presentation. I think that it reflects oftentimes how, as Black men, we are taught to give automatic deference to older generations, even when they are out of line. And when I am not taught or know how to deal with conflict, I raise my voice. I attempt to silence you. I attempt to overtalk you. I attempt to flatline you in some way, either through tone, words, etc., because I am, at least in my mind, deserving of this level of deference or respect. I do want you all to take a look specifically at how therapy is mentioned for about 25 minutes throughout the entire session, and how a lot of the behaviors didn't necessarily reflect what one would learn in therapy, particularly around conflict management, particularly around change, particularly around being able to grow and develop. There's a couple of other things that I want you to also note. Communication styles. When it comes down to communicating with another person that you do not know or that you do know, do you other them? Because if I other you, that means that I don't have to give you respect. And if I don't have to give you respect, that means that it's no holds barred. I am going to give you the business every chance I get. Without getting too deep in the weeds here, I want you to look at this group as a start, and maybe even as a start for your own group dynamics. Understanding that there is a rub, that when someone conflicts against the normal flow of the group, that there potentially could be heightened tensions or emotions, but it's how you deal with conflict. How do you show up to conflict? Do you show up to conflict to get agreement? Or do you show up to conflict to understand? That's the difference. Do you show up to conflict immediately looking to retreat? Or do you show up to conflict being open to shift as needed? Now, I enjoyed every bit of it. My only wish is that there would have been a licensed professional there to help regulate and help provide additional nuanced insight to it. But hey, I'm biased. I'm a licensed therapist. I can't help that. But I will say, watch the full video. Really look at how we communicate with each other. Not the content of what we're saying. It's how we communicate with each other. Are we using I statements? Are we using defensive posturing? Are we being open to and receptive to feedback? Are we acknowledging these things that are happening real time? And with that, take care of yourselves. Peace.